Do men need therapy, or is it just a modern day buzzword? Some say it's the key to unlocking emotional well-being and breaking generational cycles. Others argue that therapy isn't always the answer, that men need action, purpose, and community more than a couch and a conversation. In this video, we're exploring both sides of the debate to give you a full picture. So stick around and let's figure this out together. Guys, welcome back. I'm Isaac. This is David. Should men go to therapy? Should they consult a psychiatrist? We're going to get right into it.
So there's two sides of the coin. A lot of women say that all men should go to therapy. We need men to go to therapy so they can get in touch with their emotions.
Cry.
So I can pull something out of them because they're like a brick wall. And then you have people like the Andrew Tates of the world that say, if you go to therapy, you're a little girl. And yeah, different language used. But so there's two different sides of the coin. So we're going to give you information on both sides, give our opinion. But I feel that this is one of the biggest problems with men is they're often depressed. They're going through all this stuff, but they don't know how to get out of that. So I'm going to read off a couple studies that we have found that back therapy for men. They think that men should go to therapy. One is research published in the Journal of Counseling Psychology in 2019 found that men who engage in therapy after being able to challenge societal norms around masculinity, leading to healthier relationships and better stress management. And then a meta-analysis published in Psychological Bulletin in 2017 found that cognitive behavioral therapy significantly reduces symptoms of depression and anxiety in men. So men are 3 times more likely to die from ending their life than women, yet therapy has proven effective in reducing end-of-life
And that's cited by the CDC. That's cited by the CDC.
And that's by the CDC. So men are 3.5 times more likely to end their life than women are.
Yeah, also the Harvard study of adult development highlighted how unresolved emotional issues affect not just the individual, but also their families and community. Therapy helps men process these issues and break the cycle.
They're saying that therapy is going to help men be able to get rid of depression and a lot of the things deep inside they're struggling with.
Yeah, it's a very difficult conversation because I do think there are benefits to therapy, but also I want to hear the other side of the spectrum first before coming up with a conclusion.
I have some opinions on the kind of therapy I think men could take advantage of, but I'm going to leave that for later. We have a couple videos to show you. This one is from a psychologist, a men's psychologist, saying what he does in therapy sessions or says.
To do with men is that when they cry for the first time in my office, it's like once they clean themselves up, I'll like lean in and I'll look at them and I'll go, all right, well, let's go head across the street and get into a bar fight. You know, it's like they'll laugh, they'll get some relief, but like what I'm communicating to them in that moment is it's like, you still get to be a man.
I mean, I actually think that's kind of powerful. Not the bar fight necessarily. He's just making it obviously a
that
joke.
You don't have to just...
You can cry and fight. You can be emotional in the right scenario. I don't think that men should cry all the time.
I'm not going to go to therapy and cry. I mean, I know I have good friends of mine that have, and I'm not going to judge you for it. Yeah. You know, certain things work for different people.
Sometimes you got to get it out, man.
But dude,
you go a little cry, you know?
I just can't imagine paying somebody $150 an hour just to see me cry.
Well, I mean, dude, that's not all therapy is.
No, but if you go through PTSD, as I was going to say, if you're going through certain things like PTSD, the death of a loved one, like a child,
you should take some. You should take some iboga or something like a mushroom, baby.
A mushroom to clean out the elasticity of your brain.
It's been proven that PTSD survivors go to Mexico to do iboga treatment from war, like actual veterans that have extreme PTSD get healing in their brain and help them to recover by using iboga. And that's way better for you than like using all these pharmaceutical crap that's out there that all the side effects is like a novel. You know, side effects may include drowsiness, dizziness, maybe jumping off a bridge, death.
This is what Andrew Tate thinks of therapy.
They just want you to be so obsessed with how you feel in your own mind that you can't even look outside of yourself and care about anything. It's part of the propaganda machine. It's part of the mechanism to turn us all into docile farm animals. I said this to somebody the other day. They were talking about how they feel. And I said, who cares how you feel? And he goes, well, what do you mean? Well, I don't care. You're telling me I know you and I don't care. So all the people who don't know you don't care. The woman you want doesn't care. You can't go up to a chick at a bar and say, you know what? Usually I'm really charming. Today I'm a bit sad. Can you give me a pass? Can you let me off? She'll be like, go away, weirdo. The chick you want doesn't care. The job you're supposed to perform at doesn't care. If the man who wants to mug you decides to pull out a machete, he doesn't care. You can't say, bro, I'm not in the mood for a fight today. Tomorrow, please. Nobody cares. So why do you care? All the people out here in the world don't care, but you're going to sit there and you're going to care. You're the only person in the world who cares. You're going to walk around telling everybody, trying to find somebody who gives a good luck. Because what's going to happen is you're going to walk around feeling sorry for yourself, trying to find somebody who cares. You might find somebody who pretends to care long enough for you to get a little bit of dopamine. But all in all, you're wasting time in a hyper-competitive world where people like me who perform regardless of how they feel are just going to perpetually bury you. And then you're going to sit there and wake up and go, why am I a loser? Well, because when Andrew was sad, he continued to perform. When Andrew was in jail, his business didn't fall apart. He was doing push-ups every day. His body didn't fall apart. Nothing about his life degraded when he was in a jail cell surrounded by cockroaches. You're in a plushy bed at home, crying about what? And you expect the male world's hyper-competitive. So you're not allowed almost as a man to put that much importance on how you feel. You don't have time to care about it because you have too much to do. This is what I find so remarkable. If I feel sad, I don't think, how do I stop myself? I need to not feel sad. I just go to work. I got stuff to do. I'm a man. I have things to do every single day. This whole therapy garbage, I can't think of a way faster to ruin your mindset and destroy your ability to resist the perils of life than going to therapy.
It's so funny that after Andrew Tate did this specific interview with Candace Owens, he went right to a psychiatrist and did a podcast.
That was a great podcast.
And it was one of his best ones.
It was great.
I think the psychiatrist got through to him a little bit. I see what he's saying in terms of you don't have time to wallow in self-pity. But at the same time, what I've learned over the years is that you cannot dismiss what's going on inside of you because it will eventually bottle up and explode. And that's why men have rage at times. Well, you have to identify it.
The problem is this. Andrew has found out his purpose, what he wants to do with his life.
Which is why he doesn't feel sad.
And that gives men the ability to get out of depression.
That's a good point.
And never remain depressed. For me, I don't get depressed anymore.
Yeah.
Even when I have difficult things happening, I'm not making any money or whatever it could be, I don't get depressed anymore purely because I know what my mission is. I know what my purpose is. And now all it is just getting up and doing the work to get there. It might take 10 years, but I know I'm going to get there. The problem with men is so many men go through life without any purpose. They have no idea what they want to do. And they feel like they're in this rut of, I'm just a useless human being.
And then the way out, they think the way out is to go to therapy. And that's not
exactly.
The way out.
So I love what Andrew said, but that comes after you've discovered your purpose.
Yes.
Everything he said, I agree with 100%. But first, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, what is my purpose and meaning for being here in this world? I will give you guys a book that you really need to read. I'm reading it right now. I'm over halfway through. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. It's by Viktor Frankl. It's actually the #1 book that Charlie Kirk recommends. I can put a link in the description. But this guy was a Holocaust survivor and was part of concentration camps like in Auschwitz and other...
Puts it in perspective,
and he traveled, yeah. And so he saw hundreds of men die. He was freezing to death. All this time he couldn't eat. He was given like a little thing of watery soup and a small piece of bread every day for years. He was in the worst situation ever, but the book talks about how he was able to find meaning despite that. After he got out of that, how did he survive in the world? Even men that go to war, right? How can they come back and survive in the world when they have so much PTSD, but so many of them can come out of it? And just going to therapy so someone can hear about how you feel this way. The truth is men and women react differently to things. Women want to just be heard and they, cry more, but they want you to be there for them. For men, we don't react in the same way. So I recommend that book to you guys. But first, the main thing is finding your purpose.
Yes.
And what you need to do and what you love doing for the rest of your life. And then things kind of go from there.
Another book I recommend, which I did read, I need to reread it, is The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren.
Oh, yeah.
Highly, highly recommend, because it is easy as men. If you don't feel like you're on your purpose and you don't feel like there's meaning in your life, you get stuck. You feel like you can't move past a certain point. But man, the guy from the Holocaust, I can only imagine the inner strength that he had to develop, and it didn't happen overnight. I'm assuming he had to go through trials, tribulations. He had to figure out in the worst possible conditions, is it worth it to continue?
You have to read this book.
Is it worth it to live? Is it worth it to get out of bed? And that puts it in his perspective.
Yeah, because
for me.
even for me, right? Say if I'm struggling with depression, I'm on my bed, I can't get up in the morning.
Andrew Tate doesn't think it's real.
Struggling with quotes, depression. Life is about perspective, right?
Yes.
Someone that goes to jail for 12 years, comes out of jail, sees the world from a different place. They're not going to be bugged down by the things that used to bother them. So you have to change your perspective, get inspired, and learn about the stories of people. How did people come out and survive this kind of stuff? But here's another short that says, real men don't need therapy. They need gratitude.
Interesting.
So check this out.
The average real man does not need to go get therapy for the battles and the burdens he's carried inside. What he needs is for those that he's carrying them for to recognize that they're there.
Wow.
And to respect it.
That's so deep.
And to be grateful for it. They don't need to talk it out to get rid of it. They need the one that they're going through this hell for to recognize it's there and to be grateful that the man is carrying this for them. They don't need therapy. They need gratitude.
Wow.
I don't think
that might be the most impactful
60
seconds I've seen in a while. As a married man, which I haven't said that in a while, but as a married man, if I feel at times that my wife goes a long time without me feeling that she appreciates everything I do.
Showing gratitude for me, just being like, babe, I appreciate what you do for us. As a man, you feel like you're on this journey alone. That people don't see the struggles you go through. Because men and women, we have different struggles of things we go through. My wife has to take care of 2 kids all day, every day. That is work. That's a mental battle that a lot of men won't even understand. Women voice their struggles. Men internalize their struggles. We
internalize it because we understand that every day is war for us.
Yes.
We have to go out. We are fighting for the survival of our family. And if we feel that the people closest to us take that for granted and don't value what we do for them, nothing hurts more. But the moment that you start to show your spouse, women, showing your man that you appreciate the sacrifice he is doing for the family and that he is going out there and taking care of those things you don't have to, taking care of the car, taking care of the taxes, making sure you can eat and have a roof over your head, it takes such a burden off of men because it kind of fuels us.
Yes.
Because now we're like, well, I want to do more. I want to take you on dates more. I want to do this and that. I want to make you feel like the queen of my world. And it just comes with showing your man gratitude can change everything.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Man.
Absolutely right. Guys, what we're going to show you next is Jordan Peterson talking about creating a vision for your life. So this is kind of going back to what we said of having a purpose-driven life. In order to not have to have therapy sessions all day long and complain about your life, you have to have a purpose in the first place. And that's what Jordan Peterson's going to say on this video. Check it out.
You need a vision for the future to motivate you to change because it's easier to do nothing. So you need a reason to act. So now the question is, well, where might you discover a reason to act? You're not going to be very good at that when you first try it. So maybe you have to do some rather simple exercises to get yourself warmed up. So I could say, all right, here's the game. 5 years down the road, you can have what you need and want. Okay, but here are the rules. You have to be treating yourself properly, as if you're valuable, and you have to specify what your goal is.
So simple.
It's the best things in life that I've found in terms of advice from people that have gone through it is simple. It's so easy to overcomplicate purpose, and we cannot rely just on motivation either, though. Discipline always wins over motivation because motivation will come and go, and you will feel like not wanting to do it some days, getting up, going to the gym, being successful, making money, providing for your family, but you have to do it anyways. And that's what I think Andrew Tate was saying. Regardless of how you feel, you have to get up and go do it.
Yeah.
You just have to get up no matter how you feel and do it.
One of the biggest problems with men as well is they are always looking for the finish line instead of the journey.
Yep.
I've told you from the beginning that this is what we're doing. If it takes 10 years for us to get 100,000 subscribers, That's fine, because I know where I want to go, and it's about the daily journey to get there, and that's what fuels me. The daily journey, not the end goal. David Goggins, one of my heroes. Enjoy this.
Enjoy the excerpt.
Just enjoy this.
Just got to run a 120-mile week, 2,000 pull-ups, 4,000 push-ups, and hundreds of reps at the gym. I hear it all the time. Goggins has a great message, but you don't want to end up like him. His body's all fucked up. You're not afraid of having a fucked up body. You're afraid of the fucking effort. See, what you don't understand is this. We're all being tested. And that road to success is a bumpy ass fucking road. Has fucking potholes, nails, detours and shit. Yeah. A lot of you are gonna die with a nicely preserved body. No plates, no bad knees, no bruises, no scars. Stay hard.
A lot of you are going to die with a nicely preserved body. I'm going to remind myself that every day. Do I want to die with a nicely preserved body, or do I want some plates, some bad knees, and some bruises? Let's freaking go. David Goggins hypes me up, dude. He's the man that actually got me out of depression, because I was, again, depressed because I had no purpose.
Yes.
Once you find your purpose, I don't think you can get depressed unless you're a weak man. So it was him on Joe Rogan, and he looked through the screen and he was just cursing at me. I felt like he was speaking to me, and he said, "What are you doing with your life? You're so afraid of pain that you're not going to go through anything difficult, and you're always going to take the easy way out instead of doing the hard things in order to get to where you want to be."
Weak men start wars. Strong men end wars.
Boom. Now we're going to go to the difference between male and female depression.
Men, they don't so much need love, they want respect. If they had to choose between love and respect from their mate, they would choose respect. Women need love. They want to be loved and adored and everything else. Men, different.
So I had a psychotherapist called Adam Lane Smith on my podcast, and he said that male depression gets treated like female depression. Men are made to feel loved and accepted when all they want to do is feel capable and powerful. He used this example of the Blitz in World War II. Before the war started, there were these psychiatric wards, and they had patients. These patients had been totally comatose, unresponsive. Then the Blitz starts. So there were fires and there were injuries all over London, and there were ambulances and fire engines, and there was no one to drive them. These men got up and started driving fire engines and ambulances. These men that had been unresponsive for years and years and years. Give a man a purpose and the ability to achieve it, and he will crawl over broken glass with a smile.
Oh my gosh. Let me look at that. What did he say? Give men a purpose.
Jeez, man.
What was it? Give men.
I didn't got to watch that again.
Okay, I got to show you the end of this.
Fire engines and ambulances. These men that had been unresponsive for years and years and years. Give a man a purpose and the ability to achieve it, and he will crawl over broken glass with a smile.
Give a man a purpose and the ability to achieve it, and he will crawl over broken glass with a smile.
I know the silent suffering that men go through. You know, Joe Rogan talks about it, you know. What was the one phrase that Joe Rogan talked about? Silently suffering?
Yeah, men silently suffer, live a life of
quiet. Most men live lives of quiet desperation.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that in a man's heart, he needs men around him that he can have those moments with. Not all the time, but he can just be like, dude, I'm suffering right now. I need some help and direction. Help me get back on track. If you always go to your spouse with that, you're going to come across as weak.
Yeah.
And your spouse, as much as they want to love you and cuddle you,
they
and
won't
hold
really
you,
respect you.
They won't respect you. Women can do that. Women can be like, babe, I just need a hug. Just cuddle me. Just be next to me. And you can love them, you can support them. Men just want to be capable. They want to feel capable.
Yeah.
They came out of a comatose state in World War II for years to help drive ambulances and fire trucks.
Yeah, now there's been like 3 or 4 times that I've cried bawling my eyes out in front of my wife, and she loved to see that side of me because I had years of built up showing no emotion.
Yeah.
Showing none and shutting her out of my life.
It's better to have emotion than not
so
have any.
it's okay to cry, man, but don't cry all the time. Like if something really moves you that you have to cry, that's fine. But if every single time a pinprick or you stub your toe and you're on the ground crying like a baby, no. There are moments where you're meant to hold stuff in and just get the job done. And then there's times your wife does want you to be vulnerable, and that can bring you closer. But if you are doing that every single moment, anything goes wrong in your life, your wife is not going to feel secure, taken care of, provided for. She's going to be worried about the future of her family. So it's just, there has to be a balance. But the question I have for you is, what is the meaning of life? Because in order to get out of depression and to not go back into that, because it's very easy to slip back into that, you have to know the meaning of life, the meaning of your purpose, the meaning of your life. What are you going to do with your life, and how do you find that? I think that is one of the biggest questions that you have to ask yourself. How can you get there?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. What for you? What is the meaning of life? How do you think men can start to figure out their purpose? Because a lot of men don't know where to start.
I think in a lot of ways where men should start is by helping other people. The moment that you get outside of yourself and you stop focusing on everything that's going wrong in your life and you start to help other people, there is nothing more enjoyable than seeing other people around you thrive and be successful. Because the moment you give it away, it's an open-handed policy instead of a closed fist. That's why people that work at charities or foundations, or they help, with ending trafficking, they're very happy people. Now, that's a totally different thing. But when you're helping other people as a job, you naturally are a happier person because you're doing something that is outside of you to help the humanity as a whole. I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah, and also you have to discover the difference between your passion and your purpose. Because a passion can be photography. Mm-hmm. Say you're a photographer. You have a passion to do photography, but is that your purpose? Or is it to help people, to help tell stories? Is it to... it could be, there's so many things that could involve. It could be teaching other people how to do photography. It could be anything in that realm, but you have to figure out what is your purpose. One of my passions is editing videos. I love it. Mm-hmm. But what if I broke one of my hands? Now is my purpose finished? No, because that's not my purpose. My purpose is to help people tell their story and to be educated, to not be taken advantage of in this world, to actually go out there and be strong, be informative, strong men and people overall. Editing is a passion of mine, but it's a tool for me to get that accomplished. Yeah. But if I no longer can be an editor, I can still get that accomplished, because you have to find your purpose, not only rely on your passion. And if you only rely on a passion, that's how you end up broke. There's a lot of musicians I know that their passion is to play piano, but they're not good enough to get paid for it full time. Yeah, it's really about what are you setting your eyes upon. Yep. You if you can see it, you can have it. You have to go out and take it. Yep. A lot of men are waiting for things to come to them. They're not actually being proactive and going and getting it, because they're not taught that, especially in school. They're not taught financial literacy in school. So if you're in high school today in America, they don't teach you financial literacy. They teach you math is great, but they're teaching gender studies instead of financial literacy. Men want to be challenged. We want something we can go and grab and take. But unless that's taught, then men become women and they become very feminine, very shells of themselves, and they wonder why they're not happy. And then all of a sudden they're depressed. Then they're on medication. Then they're ending their life. I mean, you don't gradually fall into that depressive state. You make decisions over and over again to put yourself in that cocoon. So it is a gradual.
It is a gradual
descent.
You
don't fall in depression right away.
Yes.
It's a gradual state.
It's a gradual descent.
That's why going back to Andrew Tate is so powerful, because once you found your purpose, there is no reason you should be depressed. No reason at all you should be depressed. You becoming depressed is purely taking away from your future. And as he says, other people aren't going to care. Most people in society will not care if you are depressed or not. They will care if you can perform and what is the value that you are offering the world.
Ralph Waldo Emerson says, the purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. John F. Kennedy, efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Eric Thomas, when you find your why, you find a way to make it happen. Fyodor Dostoevsky, the mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for.
What are you guys living for?
What are you living for?
It can be as simple as all you want to live for is your family, and that's a great purpose. Just live for your family. But now you have to say, how can I make my family's life better?
Yeah, if you can live If you can find your purpose, then your family naturally is just going to have a better life because you're happy and you're the head of the house. You're leading your family. And if you're not leading well, then you haven't found your why. If your why has not been answered, then your family will not get the same level of man that they deserve out of you. So I want to challenge every one of you out there. What is your purpose? What is your why? Why are you here? Why are you alive? Have you found a reason to be alive instead of just existing as a bot in the machine? We want you to be better, to grow, to expand your mind, to grow in every area, whether that's reading books, listening to podcasts, becoming more educated in your field so you can make more money. But we want to hear your thoughts and comments below. Let us know what your purpose is and what your mission in life. And do you need therapy? Let's see. We'll see you on the next video.
Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.
Peace.